Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and you're watching NFL Daily. Today, I have 7 trades that could happen during the 2019 NFL Draft, and today's show is brought to you by My TV Choice app. Get rid of commercials for good. Download the app today at mytvchoice.com. The first trade that I'm going to go in depth on, and this one is pretty interesting, is around the Washington Redskins. And I think the team could trade up to the number 3 spot and swap picks with the New York Jets because, let's be real, the Jets, they're looking to add bodies, and the Redskins are looking to add a body that can call hike because, newsflash, Colt McCoy, Case Keenum, not the answers. And now there's a nice little report out there that the Redskins, well, they could be the top team for Josh Rosen. But let's say that they miss on Josh Rosen because there's a lot of other NFL teams that are interested in him. Maybe this is the proposed potential trade that the Redskins could do. They get the number 3 overall pick from the New York Jets, and then they send the 15th. Then they send their 2nd round pick and a 3rd round pick to the Jets. Now, the Redskins have another pick in the 3rd round, right around 97. I believe it's 95. So, with that being said, the Redskins, they might be able to get the quarterback that they desperately need. Could it be Kyler Murray? Could it be Dwayne Haskins? This is something that we're going to have to find out. But the Redskins, at the end of the day, they have a lot of needs. We know that they need an offensive guard. The quarterback position, sure, you have Alex Smith, who I don't know if he's ever going to play again. And yes, I understand that you went out and got Case Keenum, and you have Colt McCoy. I think Colt McCoy and Case Keenum are literally the same person. And if maybe you don't believe in either of them, you go out and you get yourself a Kyler Murray. And the Redskins, they are a team that I kind of feel bad for, right? I mean, they went out and they first drafted RG3, which seems like a century ago. He wins Rookie of the Year, gets injured. Then you get Alex Smith. You sign him to a big contract, pay him all this millions guaranteed, gets injured. Kyler Murray is the number 1 quarterback, in my opinion. The only issue is the Cardinals are rumored to potentially take him at number 1. I would like to see this so I can see Tom Downey shave his head. But when you look at the top quarterback prospects in the 2019 NFL Draft, I think if you're the Redskins, the only way that I make a jump from 15 to up to 3 is to get Kyler Murray. I mean, Dwayne Haskins is good. Drew Lock, you're okay too. But the only way I think the Redskins make this move is to go out and get Kyler Murray, which is exactly why I'm going to ask you this question right now. Which NFL team do you want to draft Kyler Murray? Do you want it to be the Redskins? Do you want it to be the Raiders? Do you want it to be another team? Maybe like the Cardinals. I want you to comment below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know. If there's one team that I want to draft Kyler Murray, hit me up on IG or Twitter at MitchellRenz265. I'll let you know. The next trade I want to get in depth on is the Houston Texans trading up to 13. And I think they could trade up with the Miami Dolphins because Dolphins general manager came out this past week and said, we're not tanking. We're just going to build from the ground up and in full rebuild mode. I think that is a nice way of saying that you're tanking. I think it's when, maybe your mom asks you, how do I look? You say interesting because you don't want to say bad. Sorry, Mom. But at the end of the day, the Texans desperately need offensive line help. I mean, sure, you go out and get Donald Penn. That's great. But at the end of the day, your biggest asset on that team is DeAndre Hopkins. So this is the potential trade that I threw together here with the Texans and the Dolphins. The Texans, they trade up from 23 to 13 with the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins get the 23rd overall pick and the Texans' 2nd round pick, number 55. You're the Houston Texans? Guess what? You need to protect Deshaun Watson. What I'm worried about seeing is Deshaun Watson running for his life. And when I hit up Tom earlier and I was like, Tom, what are the Texans' biggest needs? He's like, offensive line. I'm like, we'll go in more depth. He's like, offensive line, offensive tackle, offensive guard. The Texans need to retool that offensive line so Deshaun Watson can get the ball to his playmakers like DeAndre Hopkins. And I don't know, people are talking DeAndre Hopkins, you may be the best wide receiver in the NFL. Let's move to the next team here that could do a nice little trade back. It's the Oakland Raiders, and the Raiders have 3 first-round picks. They have the 4th, the 24th, and the 31st. What I really want to concentrate on here with the Raiders is potentially trading that 24th pick back with the LA Rams because the Rams are looking for a defensive tackle. And I think it's unlikely that the Rams ultimately re-sign Ndamukong Suh. He's looking for a lot more money. And the Raiders, I think, have high hopes of being this great team. I run the Raiders Report here, and you guys should subscribe to youtube.com/Raiders Report. The only thing is, Raider Nation, we were 4-12 last year. To get into the playoffs is tough. Maybe at the end of the day, we know that John Gruden, Mike Mayock, they're looking to add more bodies. This is a way where you could do it. So the Raiders get the 31st overall pick, and then the Rams give them their 3rd rounder at 96. So the Rams, they jump up at the 24 spot because they're looking for linebackers. They're looking for defensive line help. And if the Rams, with all these different bodies, and I think it would be interesting with such a talented NFL draft class and the defensive side of the football, you pair him with one of the best minds on defense. Hey, I'm liking where this is going. But the Rams, they need a lot of help on that defensive side, a cornerback, linebacker, and they have 2 third-round selections. So maybe the Rams are looking at it like, well, we have back-to-back picks basically in the 3rd round. Let's just send one of the Raiders to go up and get a guy that we need. But again, like I said before, the Raiders have multiple needs, and they need, edge. They need a tight end. When you lose Jared Cook, when you have only 13 sacks in 2018, you need to add a lot of talent around that. And the fact that they don't have a 3rd rounder, the Rams then can insert their 3rd round pick and say, hey, Raiders, this is what you're going to get. Now, I think if the Rams do that, if there's one player that I think they really have in mind, it's Christian Wilkins. And I like Christian Wilkins a lot. He's a big-bodied player out of Clemson. And Ndamukong Suh is just a huge body who just can clear the way when he wants to. Christian Wilkins is going to be able to take on double teams and I think really free up and be a good fit in this Rams defense with Wade Phillips. You give Wade Phillips an intelligent, big-body player like Christian Wilkins, and I think it's really high upside, and I think he's one of those players who's going to be able to fit great into this Rams defense, which is why I have them potentially trading up with the Raiders from 24 to 31. So I run the Raiders show here. And I want to know from people who aren't diehard Raider fans, how many games will the Raiders win in 2019? Comment below on YouTube, Facebook. Let me know if you want to know how many wins I think they're going to have. Hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Make sure you guys subscribe to this main channel. Also, we're producing a lot of content. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Let's move to the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. They don't have a 1st round pick. Which I think is kind of mind-blowing to me, but when you go out and you trade for Amari Cooper, which I think all Cowboys fans would agree, worked out in their favor. Now, they missed on some big-name safeties this free agency period. I think they wanted Earl Thomas, missed on him. Maybe the Honey Badger was an option, missed out on him. And you look at some of these other players that they could have had, they're still looking to add depth at the safety position. Now, they did just go out and get Mayock, who's, I think at the end of the day, a 1-year deal, which is just kind of a prove-it deal. Which is why, so this is the trade I put together for the Cowboys. In the 2nd round pick, they're going to get from the Lions. They're going to trade up with the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are going to receive their 58th pick, and then a 3rd round pick, the 90th overall. Let's just say one of these safeties slides down, right? Let's say they slide down the board, maybe a Rockison or Darnell Savage, who Tom absolutely loves. Maybe the Cowboys trade up from 58 all the way up to 43. We also run an awesome Cowboys show here. Make sure you guys subscribe. YouTube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report, the #1 Cowboys show on the internet. And I want to ask you, everyone who's not just Cowboys fans, will the Cowboys win the NFC East in 2019? I want you to type Y for yes, type N for no. For anybody who types N for no, tweet at Tom, what going down, and let's give him some hell. The Patriots, the New England Patriots, everything goes back to New England, right? They could be trading up with the Vikings. Now, the Patriots had the last pick in the 1st round, 32nd overall, and I still think that this is a team that's looking to add talent on offense simply because you lost Rob Gronkowski. Now, sure, there's rumors out there that Gronk could return if the Patriots really needed them, but I think if you're New England, you can't bank on that. You just can't simply bank on that. Now, I think if the Patriots, with 32 overall, they could trade up with the Minnesota Vikings, who sit there and have the 18th overall pick. I know the Vikings didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're actually a pretty well put together team. And I think if the Patriots really wanted to trade up, maybe to get a certain player to take over for Gronk, the Vikings would be like, okay, send that 32nd overall pick. And then why don't you throw in the 2nd rounder at pick 56? This would be absolute havoc for the NFL, I think, if the Patriots traded up for Noah Fant, tight end out of Iowa. And this would be really fun. Now, the Patriots missed out on Jared Cook, so they're obviously interested in a tight end prospect. And when you look at the tight end depth chart of the Patriots, it's thin. It is scary to look at. And the fact that Noah Fant is a classic move tight end. Now, I don't want to compare him to Aaron Hernandez off the field, but on the field, Tom Brady worked great with a move tight end in Aaron Hernandez. And I think Noah Fant would be a perfect fit. When you combine his skill set with Tom Brady, it's fun to watch, and a 4.5 140 is great. But the 6'4", 240-pound tight end who can run a 3-cone drill in 6.81, he's a crisp route runner. He's going to be able to get open, and he's young and learning underneath Tom Brady. Man, that would be a lot of fun to see Noah Fant. But the rest of the NFL would not be very happy about it. So the Patriots won Super Bowl 53. And humble brag here, I put some money down on BetDSI, and I ended up winning But for Super Bowl 54, my teams that I think are going to be in it, the New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots. And I've already put money down on BetDSI, and you guys should too. Use our promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. If you already have that gut feeling like this team's going to win the Super Bowl, what are you waiting on? BetDSI, the internet's #1 sports book. Again, it's promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. I bet on the Saints. Let's go. Giants trade up to number 9. Now, why would the Giants do that? They need a quarterback. And if Dwayne Haskins slides down the board a little bit, maybe the Giants are sitting there because they have 2 first-round picks after the OBJ trade. They could take that 17, trade up with the Bills to number 9, and maybe go out and get their quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. Because, no offense, Eli, you're washed. 38 years old, you've had an amazing career, but your time has come. And I think if the Giants are looking at the board, they're like, man, this is a player who we've been thinking about taking at number 6, and he's still there at number 9. You go up and you get him. Now, the Bills, they have their quarterback. They have their player. And maybe they're just trying to add more bodies. When I look at this Giants offense, you have Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard. Yes, your offensive line needs some work, but as soon as somebody gets around the edge, Eli goes down. Now you have a player like Dwayne Haskins who is actually pretty mobile. Now he's not a mobile quarterback, but it can at least move. And when you look at his numbers at Ohio State last year, you're like, oh, this guy won the Heisman. Well, unfortunately, Tua and Kyler Murray also exist, and it was one of the best quarterback classes, I think, in terms of a Heisman race that I've personally ever seen. 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, a very accurate quarterback, and sure, there's some people out there who say, well, maybe he doesn't throw the deep ball well. Well, he didn't really have to at Ohio State. So I think the Giants here, they trade up to number 9, they get Dwayne Haskins, and the Bills receive 17th overall, and the Giants' second-round pick, which is at pick 37. Should the Giants draft a quarterback? It's a question we've been talking about a lot here on NFL Daily. There's a lot of NFL rumors going around, and make sure you guys subscribe to youtube.com/chatsportstv so you don't miss any NFL rumors the entire season. Should the Giants draft a quarterback? I want you to type D for draft, P for pass. If you don't think it's going to be Dwayne Haskins, you want it to be somebody else, let me know in the comment section. I'm looking, I'm watching. Let's go to this last trade here with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that they trade up with the Seahawks, and this is one of those, you help me, I help you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Super bad reference. I'm not going to make it. Seahawks have only 4 picks in the 2019 NFL Draft. Let me repeat that. The Seahawks have only 4 picks in the 2019 NFL Draft. We know the Chiefs need to improve their secondary. The offense is, well, pretty much set. When you have Patrick Mahomes, you have all these talented options. You lead the league in points, yards. They're good. But that defense is a serious, serious issue for the Chiefs. And sure, you going out, you got the Honey Badger. I get it. But when you're giving up 31st most yards per game in the NFL, it's why you lost to the Patriots. It's why you didn't advance. You have all the tools on offense. Now you just need to build that defense. Sure, center is still a need. But if you have a cornerback in mind that you're really looking at and you're like, oh man, there's a certain cornerback that's dropping, because for every single year, it seems like one defensive player just slides down the board a lot farther than what we thought. So this is the trade that I threw together here. The Chiefs are going to receive the Seahawks' 22nd overall pick. The Seahawks then get the Chiefs' 29th overall and their second-round pick at 61. Now, why would the Chiefs do this? Because a certain cornerback slid down. Maybe it's Greedy Williams. Maybe they really like Byron Murphy. Maybe it's DeAndre Baker. Maybe they have one of these cornerbacks who are really high. Now, Byron isn't the athletic freak that Greedy is. But Byron's, I think, very, very technical sound. And DeAndre Baker's also a very solid cornerback. But I think the only way the Chiefs make this move is for one of those 3 corners. And I don't really know if Greedy's going to slide all the way to the 22nd. But I think there's every single year we say there's no way that guy's going to slide. And guess what? Sometimes a certain player slides. I'm saying goodbye to everyone right now, and you guys need to say goodbye to commercials for good. Don't watch no more ShamWow. Get rid of that. Get some NCAA highlights on the Final Four coming up this weekend. You want more NFL content instead of watching commercials? Download the MyTV Choice app today, right now, at mytvchoice.com.